I love it.
Can you give a little history? It has been about 20 years since Judge Salamone started the
I
program.
think it's been exactly 20 years. It's our 20th year.
And I
Yeah.
believe it was a pilot to begin with that has been expanded statewide. So, that as memory serves me, we were at the forefront, and the idea was to keep people out of jail, to treat the addiction, get them on the right path, so that they weren't simply being warehoused. So, again, to the
Yeah.
court and the court administrators, and continuing on this, thank you.
Yeah.
Certainly, I think, the people that you've helped, addiction is, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, any type of addiction affects more than just the individual, it's the entire family. So, again, thank you for all that you do to try to get these people back on the right path.
Thank you. It's the joy of my career. And I would just let everyone know here when we're talking about regional programs that we work with some other courts that have different types of programs. So I arraign people every day. Most people in the jail suffer from some form of mental illness. I see it every day, or substance use disorder. And we work with different courts. So Wyandotte has a mental health court, so they help people who the primary condition is underlying mental health programs. And then Southgate has a veterans court. So there are special issues that veterans might face when they find themselves in the criminal justice system. So we would refer them there. So we take cases in, but we also send cases out depending on the need of the individual.
I know this
Councilman Johnson?
probably don't apply. But could a parent come to you and say, hey, I need help with my child, this is what's going on? It's gotta go through the court system.
They have to have a case. In order for me to get jurisdiction or have the case transferred to me, they have to have a case.
Okay.
Yeah, and somewhere in the criminal justice system.
A lot of good information.
Cool, good?
Thank
All
you.
right, great, nice to see everyone, thank you.
We'll get that coffee. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Yeses have it, motion carried. Item 8.2 is a motion to approve Sutphen Sourcewell bid for the purchase of 2 fire engines for an amount not to exceed $2,164,226 funded through General Fund Fire Department Vehicle Account.
Motion.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Rose, supported by Councilwoman Daniels. I'd like to ask the chief to come forward. This is large expenditure. Maybe just give a history of, what our current equipment are. I know we've had discussion over the years, ladder trucks versus non-ladder trucks.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. I figured you might want to ask me a couple of questions when this came out. So a couple things I did want to let you know. We're buying the trucks now. There is a very extended lead time for these to be built. It's about 3 to 4 years. The fleet currently right now is good. We don't need them right now, but the time frame to get them built is about 3 to 4 years. So I thought it'd be wise to get them ordered now, so we'll have them when the engines start failing.
If memory serves me correct, we had this in the budget. We had this discussion during the budget process.
I think we don't know if we put it in the budget, but I definitely talked about the need for getting 2 new fire engines because of the lead time.
Jason, did we have that in the budget? I remember we talked about that there was a lead time, and that or is it just, it's under the ARPA line item, and we discussed?
So,
Sorry, thank you.
Through the chair real fast before he answers, I think maybe you might be thinking about the ambulances because we are still waiting.
That same thing?
It's about 3 years and they should be here this year or at the end of the year.
All right.
through Chair, to my knowledge, this particular purchase is not in the department's budget right now. We are bringing a budget amendment next meeting to account for this and other items, and also the ARPA. As we talked about last meeting, the ARPA obligation date is 12/31. So we're going to have a lot of good budget talks next meeting. This particular item will be in there. I believe the chief did have the discussion with the administration about this purchase, utilizing maybe some ARPA funds for it and some fund balance, but we will have that all worked out with our budget amendment next meeting. So
Yeah, I do. It says funded through General Fund Fire Department Vehicle Account.
yeah, and we, like I said, because yes, like I said, it's, the administration wanted to use fund balance because of the, the fund balance that we have. And again, I always say, when we use fund balance, we use it for items like this, right? One-time purchases. Apologize that there's not a budget amendment at this time. I didn't see this on the agenda, but, we are definitely working on the budget amendment for next meeting for sure.
Chairman,
Okay.
Councilwoman.
do we have to pay this in full up front, or is it a deposit, or how does that work?
I'm assuming it's like the ambulance where deposits. Do you have that?
There's options. We can pick to pay up front. We get a little discount for doing that. We can pay at the end. We can pay as we go.
Yeah, we'll look at those options. Obviously, with that kind of lead time, maybe a small deposit is warranted, but definitely won't release the funds until we know.
Yeah, I'd be a little leery, even with it, unless it was a substantial discount. That's a lot of money to front, I mean, you never know, companies close, and, hate to be in that.
Yeah, and just one more note, like I said, the Sourcewell Cooperative, there was a multiple number of vendors that were awarded the contract, and the department did review all the vendors and made a decision. So the Sourcewell Cooperative is a good, tool to use. So we don't expect that to happen with one of their
Right.
vendors, but
Of
you
course
never know, with that kind of
Never
lead
know.
time. So again, when we earmark the budget, right, it's when the item comes in. So if you're thinking about it, the budget won't be probably effective until a couple of years from now, or maybe 2 years from now. But that's where we use the assignment of fund balance to cover all that for those future purchases, so.
All right. Any other questions?
Do you mind if I give you guys another couple points? He said we went with the cooperative. There was a couple reasons that we picked Sutphen. One was price lock-in. There was other companies that if we went with them, we weren't guaranteed the price that we paid now. We would actually be paying more in 3 years. So that was one reason, and also their service was so much better than what we currently have and all the other vendors. So that was two of the key reasons I went with Sutphen.
All right. And they've got better horns on the fire trucks. Is that another feature?
I think they're about the same.
Chairman,
Councilwoman.
I had a couple questions. So how many do we have now?
We have 3 fire engines at the stations, 1 ladder truck, and then we have a old fire engine. It's currently at DPW because we had to move people from Station 3 to Station 1, and that is pretty much out of service permanently.
Okay, so you said this takes 3 to 4 years, so do you expect these to, like, how many is the right amount to have? Is it 4, so you have one?
Well, we have 3 stations, so it's nice to have 4 or 3 and a backup 1 because we use the ladder at Station 1. So 3 is a good number, and I think like every time I come up here and talk about this stuff, I think you guys know 10 years is about the limit that they want to go for fire equipment, fire ambulances, fire trucks, safety gear, things like that. And we'll be at about the 10-year mark in 3 years with all our fleet.
All right. And these are not ladder trucks, correct?
No, these are fire engine pumpers.
All right. Any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Yeses have it, motion carried. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Item 8.3 is motion to approve Dell MyDeal state bid for the purchase of 85 desktop computers in the amount of $55,250 funded through ARPA Fund IT Capital Outlay.
Make a motion?
Support.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilman Witten. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Yeses have it, motion carried. Item 8.4 is motion to approve the resolution authorizing the Director of Public Works to sign permits to execute on behalf of the City of Taylor for the Wayne County Annual Permits Package.
Make a motion?
Support.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilwoman Witten. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Yeses have it, motion carried.